Hey guys, welcome to my legal classes. This is Ganesh Pujari, and in the series of Evidence Act, I was discussing about Chapter 6, which is all about the exclusion of oral by documentary evidence covered between Section 91 to 100. We have already covered Section 91 and 92 in two different individual videos which are very important, and from there I am taking you to next 6 sections, that is from Section 93 to 98, which are basically dealing with the documents which are ambiguous. Now, when we are saying ambiguous documents, there are two major types, that is the patent and latent ambiguity. But I am not straight away getting in there. I will take you to the types of documents. I will give a beautiful chart to see chapter 5 and 6 together, and then I will explain what is patent and latent ambiguity in this video. In my next video, I will cover what is patent ambiguity, and later we'll definitely get into latent ambiguity. So I have two slides here. One, the types of documents, a beautiful chart, and then one more slide where I'm going to explain the patent and latent ambiguity concept. I hope that helps. With that, I'm taking you to slide number 1. This is the chart I was referring as far as the types of documents are concerned. I have prepared this particular chart completely keeping in mind chapter 5 and 6 of Evidence Act. Now we can divide the types of documents into three major categories. The first one being on the basis of document as an evidence. Second one on the basis of document from which source it is coming. And the third one based on the quality of the document. Coming to the first part, that is document as an evidence. Now here again we can divide this into two major types. Now we have learnt section 61 to 66 from chapter 5, which is all about documentary evidence, and section 61 to 66. These 6 sections are dividing documentary evidence into two major categories, that is primary evidence and secondary evidence. We have learnt all the provisions related to them already. Coming to the second part, document from which source it is coming from. Here again we have to divide this into two categories. We have already studied these 5 sections, that is section 74 to 78 of chapter 5, which divides the source of documents into two major types, that is public documents and private documents. That is as far as the source of documents are concerned. The third part, Act is not really talking on that, but I am bringing this concept, that is the quality of documents. Now if you see the quality of document, we can divide them into plain documents and ambiguous documents. I am going to explain all the concepts in my next slide, but for now remember it can be divided into two categories, the plain documents and the ambiguous documents. The concept of ambiguous documents in Evidence Act is covered under chapter 6 between section 93 to 98, that is total of 6 sections. Again, among the ambiguous documents, I am dividing it into two categories, the patent ambiguity and latent ambiguity. Now, patent ambiguity is covered between section 93 and 94, whereas the latent ambiguity has as many as 4 sections, that is covered from section 95 to 98. Now, what is plain document? What is an ambiguous document? What is patent ambiguity and what is latent ambiguity? All these questions are answered in my next slide. Let's get into that particular slide. Now let us try understand the terms one by one. The first thing that we need to understand is what is a plain document and what are ambiguous documents. To start the discussion, I will start with a plain document. Plain documents are those documents which are very simple, which are giving straight messages, which are easy to understand. For example, A sold his flat 404 of landmark apartment to B for rupees 10 lakhs. Here A is selling his flat, and what is the flat number? That is 404 and flat in which apartment? It is in Landmark apartment and B is buying it for 10 lakh rupees. So for A the consideration is 10 lakh rupees. For B the consideration is the flat 404 of Landmark apartment. Everything is clear here. This is a simple, straight and easy document. That is about plain document. I am not getting into the nitty-gritties at the later stage, like when the transfer is happening, all of that I am not getting into. But to the extent of understanding who is selling the flat and who is buying the flat, what is the price of flat, all of that are very clear. That can be called as plain document. While plain documents are simple, straight and easy to understand, the opposite of the same, which is called as ambiguous documents, are not simple, are not giving straight meaning or not easy to understand. They are basically not clear or the terms are not decided yet. There is chance for more than one interpretations and the meaning is not obvious. There can be more than two meaning or at least two meanings can be interpreted. All of such documents are called as ambiguous documents. And these ambiguous documents are again divided into two. The first one is patent ambiguity. The other one is latent ambiguity. What is patent ambiguity? Patent ambiguity is that ambiguity where there is an obvious question is arising out after reading that document or out and out confusion or when it is not clear. It is a patent ambiguity, like for example in a contract or in a grant or in any other disposition of property or any other matter. On the face of the document itself, if there is any kind of inconsistency or if there are uncertain language, in that case we are calling it as patent ambiguity. On the face of the document, the moment you read it, you understand that there is some issue with the document. Like for example, I have given a simple illustration. One person, Mr. X, says, give my car to A or B or C. Now Mr. X is not here. Now whom to give the car? Whether to give it to A or to B or C. That statement is confusing and that is what exactly is called as patent ambiguity, and the term is discussed under section 93 and 94, which is my next video. On the other hand, latent ambiguity is exactly opposite to patent ambiguity. Under patent ambiguity, we already know that on the face of the document itself, we see some inconsistency or some uncertain language. Whereas under latent ambiguity, when you see the document, which may be a contract or a grant or disposition of some property or any other matter, when you see such legal instrument, on the face of that document, you will not see any ambiguity. But when you really try to implement them, then you will face some difficulty because of some ambiguity in that particular document. Here, the ambiguity is hidden or underlying or concealed. It is not seen in the face of the document, and the illustration is give my car to my grandson A. Here what happens? The language is very clear. X is writing that give my car to my grandson A. That is very clear. But when you really try to give the car to his grandson A, you find that there are two grandsons who are named as A. Now, when you see the document, you have never felt there can be some ambiguity. But when you try to implement that particular document, you then realized that there are two grandsons with the same name, that is A. Here, the ambiguity is called as latent ambiguity, and we are discussing latent ambiguity under section 95 to 98. That means we have 4 sections which will be covered in one of my future video.
What do you pick first, the key or the helmet? You always pick the helmet first for the purpose of safety.
Yes, Nishan, you are absolutely right. When we are going outside in a two-wheeler, the first thing that we need to pick is our helmet. If we pick the key first, there are all chances that we might forget the helmet. Forgetting helmet is forgetting our safety. we should not forget helmet anytime because we should always be safe.
With that, I'm concluding this session. Please subscribe our channel.